2 years on from the earthquake that ravaged the Haitian capital, Port-au-Prince, and many are dissatisfied with the lack of progress in reconstruction. More than 500,000 people still live dangerously exposed in crowded tent camps, many without running water or electricity. Only about half the rubble from the buildings that collapsed on January the 12th, 2010 has been cleared away, slowing down transport and rebuilding work. This is despite billions of dollars pledged by international donors and the work of more than 12,000 aid groups. So, what has gone right in Haiti and, more importantly, what is going wrong? Was the Caribbean nation so badly run, poor and corrupt even before the Temblor that we cannot expect any better than this? Or is foreign aid itself the problem by perpetuating a culture of dependence rather than promoting hard work? To look at these big questions, we're hosting a discussion in our London studio. I'm joined by Anne McConnell-Wisskirchen, co-ordinator of the Haiti Support Group, and Claire Melamed from a humanitarian think tank called the Overseas Development Institute. First of all, Anne, do the Haitians still living in Port-au-Prince's tent cities have a right to be angry?
Yes, I think that they've been very much let down by the international community and by their own government. The fact that 2 years on, the situation is as critical as it is, it reflects the poor way in which the promises made have been carried out. And I think that at the heart of the matter for me is how the aid money has been spent.
And sorry, how has the aid money been spent?
Based on reports and research by various bodies, for example, $379 million was given by the U.S. government in the immediate aftermath of the earthquake and 5,000 troops deployed. An Associated Press report, as I say, literally a month after, we're already citing that of that, for every dollar, 33 cents goes back to the U.S. to reimburse them for their military costs. 42 cents of that dollar to private NGOs and public NGOs, so in other words, not Haitian NGOs, and that includes, for example, Save the Children, the UN World Food Programme, Pan American health organizations. As you mentioned, there are thousands of aid organizations who've responded to the disaster, and the problem has been the bypassing of the Haitian government systematically, and very little going to Haitians or its government, which has diminished their capacity to respond to the disaster.
Claire, has the slow progress in reconstructing Haiti come as any surprise to you? And do you agree with what Anne was saying about some of the money being squandered?
I think the trouble with debates on aid is that aid is such a big business in so many different countries, so many different projects, that you could find an example to prove almost any case that you want to make about aid, good or bad. I think that in the specific case of Haiti, it is a good example of the kind of short-term problems undermining long-term development. As Anne just said, there's a real problem with how the money is being spent in Haiti. Only about 1% of all of the money that's poured into Haiti as a result of the earthquake is actually being given to the Haitian government for them to build up their own institutions, do things like run all of the government services that we take for granted in almost every other country. Now, you can understand why people might do that. In the short term, it seems urgent, and it is urgent, to get housing, to get food, to get health services to people. And we know that the government of Haiti is very weak. And so it seems in the short term much better to do that through international organisations or through NGOs. But what that means is you're just perpetuating this cycle in the long term, which means that the Haitian government never really gets a chance to get back on its feet, to build up the services and to build up the kinds of systems that mean that the Haitian people can have a say in their own future.
Open to both of you. Now, the answer to the problem that you've just described, which is that the government isn't being given the responsibility to deal with the reconstruction, the answer to this was meant to be the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission. It was meant to bring together the money and the expertise to spearhead reconstruction. But at the moment it's inactive and it's waiting for the government to extend its mandate. The Haitians are squabbling amongst themselves rather than allowing it to achieve its goals. Anne, isn't that the problem? Isn't the problem the Haitian government?
I think it's unfair to put it so simplistically. The Haitian government has, of course, its responsibility has fallen short in some ways, but I think that with regards to the Interim Haiti Reconstruction Commission, it's been set up to fail, and from the outset, it was severely criticized by Haitians and others, and it was set up in tandem. So now it's been suspended, but the IHRC has not, because of the structure, because of it actually being set up more to the interests of the donors rather than the beneficiaries, it's not delivered.
Claire, when you were last talking, you presented the problem, which is that NGOs try and sidestep the government, but in doing so, they don't allow the government to develop. You also said that they're doing this because they need to change things on the ground. But what's the solution to that kind of conundrum?
I think the solution is to see aid both as a short-term and as a long-term project. I mean, in the aftermath of a terrible earthquake like Haiti, obviously the focus is on the short term and the focus is just on the people who need help now. But I think that people have to very quickly switch their attention to thinking about the long term and how you're going to build up the structures, boring things like administration, making sure there's a functioning civil service, things that really aren't part of the glamorous bit of the aid business, but are actually the things that make countries run well in the long term. I mean, thinking, a very different context, a very different country. In Rwanda, part of the British government's aid to Rwanda is spent on helping the Rwandan Revenue Authority, the tax office, to develop their own ability to raise taxes from companies, from individuals in Rwanda. It's that kind of aid which is in the long run going to help countries to stop needing aid.
Anne, from your point of view, do you think that's going to be the solution?
Yes, I agree that there needs to be the longer term, but I think it's also important to insist on, the situation Haiti was in before the earthquake, in terms of, as Claire's outlined, the lack of government institutions, the insufficiencies there. And with the disaster, this has been compounded. And the solution that seems to have been offered by the international community has been more of the same. This is the problem, to then reimpose a development model that was clearly failing before, and it seems to be primarily illustrated by the way the IHRC has carried out its mandate. And I think until that is addressed, then we can't move forward. And it's unjust to just put the blame at the door of the Haitian government.
Claire, on the question of whether or not foreign aid itself is the problem, can it create a culture of dependence and see countries like Haiti never really get out of the basket case situation they're in?
I think aid is very rarely the problem. I mean, aid just isn't that important. There are very few countries in the world in which aid is a big enough part of the government's budget to really be making the difference between success and failure in those countries. I suspect that Haiti might be one where actually aid is rather more important, but I think in general we massively overstate both the benefits and the problems with aid in most countries. I think it's impossible to generalise about aid. It can be good, it can be bad. There's a sort of tendency to make these very sweeping generalisations on both sides of the argument. Aid is the solution. Aid alone can deliver all the benefits that we might want for people, or aid is the problem and is the thing which is responsible for the kind of doom and despair that one can see in the world if one looks. I think both and neither are true. Aid can be good, aid can be bad, like any other area of government policy in any country, in any time in history. It depends on what you do with it.
And final comments from you. What do you advocate as the way forward in Haiti? Hopefully, when it comes to January the 12th next year, we're not going to be having this same discussion.
For me, the key things to really address are really how to engage the Haitian people in their own future and to have that respect for them. And along with that comes a greater transparency into how the money is spent, and also accountability. And I think that if these things are addressed, we'll go a lot further to finding lasting solutions for Haiti.
And Claire, your final comments on any lasting solutions?
I very much agree with Anne. I think the key is that people in Haiti and every other country in the world need to have much more control over their own futures. If aid undermines that control, then it's bad aid. If it gives that control to people, then it's good aid.
That was Claire Melamed from the humanitarian think tank, the Overseas Development Institute, saying that we should give control to the Haitian people. I was also joined by Anne McConnell-Wisskirchen, co-ordinator of the Haiti Support Group.